I became a Cardinals fan early in the 1960s. If you think about baseball history, you know that the Braves weren't in Atlanta yet. Growing up in Nashville, most people who lived in this region were either Cardinals fans or Reds fans. Not entirely sure how I got drawn to the Cardinals, except for the possibility, number one, that I could get KMOX on my radio, and number two, the local newspapers were really good about carrying robust Major League Baseball coverage. My earliest memory in all of that is fourth grade, 1964, the fall, when the Cardinals played the Yankees in the World Series. And my memory is not so much of the games, because I was fourth grade, but I remember talking to my friends in the hallway, and those guys talking, you know, all the boys in my class were like, yeah, the Yankees are going to clobber the Cardinals, because, you know, you got Mickey Mantle after all. And I was the one dissenter in the group, and they just laughed at me, and then I laughed at them when the Cardinals won. Then in '68, by then I was taking the bus home from school and getting home just in time to get maybe the 8th and 9th innings. You know, it's when you start sneaking a transistor radio in with you in school and trying to hear a little bit of the games in the afternoons if you can keep from getting caught. You know, those kinds of things. And so, a heartbreaking series in '68. I'm not sure I'm over it yet, but awesome times. And then in 1970, I got to see Bob Gibson, who was my hero, pitch a 4-hit shutout against the Phillies in St. Louis that summer, which will probably always be the highlight of my baseball fandom life. KMOX AM out of St. Louis was a huge influence on my becoming an entrenched Cardinals fan. I had a radio that sat on my bed, and just tuning around, trying to find something to listen to at night when I was supposed to be going to sleep, found KMOX. And in the summertime they always carried the Cardinals ball games, and you could sit there and listen. And Harry Carey was the lead announcer. Jack Buck was the color guy, or the secondary play-by-play guy. And you got all of what you got with Harry Carey. You got Holy Cow, you got Take Me Out to the Ball Game. He was a huge Cardinals fan. In fact, he was criticized some for being such a homer, for the Cardinals. Even though I've been a Cardinals fan for as many years as I have, I really haven't been to that many games in St. Louis. The first one I remember was in 1970, and we were on a camping trip that summer. And as it turns out, now that I've gone back and talked to my dad about it, I talked my dad and mom into going from southeast Missouri up to St. Louis to see Bob Gibson pitch. We were in Busch Stadium, and I know we were on the third base side, and I got to watch Gibson pitch. And he was masterful that night. Played the Phillies, 4-hit shutout, and plus, I think he went 3 for 4 that night at the plate, because he was always, just such a great athlete. He always hit well. Of course, it's just an amazing memory that as long as I have my mind, it will be, the outstanding, because I got to see my hero pitch, and I got to see him pitch well, and we shut out the Phillies, and who doesn't like shutting out the Phillies? I've been fortunate to love 2 women in my life. The first one was Jackie, beautiful red-haired girl from St. Louis, grew up playing fast-pitch softball, and she was into the Cardinals. She knew her Cardinal history, and she didn't pay a lot of attention during the regular season, but when it got to postseason, you haven't quite lived unless you've experienced a postseason game watching with Jackie England. She was intense. To share that love for the Cardinals with her for 40 years before she passed from kidney disease in 2015 was just a blessing from God. Since her passing, I've had the blessing of a new relationship with Stephanie, and she's lived in a lot of different places, from Alaska to Texas to Nashville, but mostly in Kentucky, and has an affinity for the Cardinals, but probably hasn't been as deeply rooted in the Cardinals as I've been through the years. But a strong affinity for the Cardinals, and an enthusiasm for my enthusiasm for the Cardinals. And so to be able to introduce her to the game experience, first at opening day and then in the playoff context, has really been a great opportunity for us to build kind of a new fandom together, if you will. Now, going through the Cardinals Hall of Fame Museum was really kind of a surreal experience for me. I had no idea that there was an opportunity to hold a bat, a game-used bat, or to wear a championship ring. But the idea of standing there and holding a bat that Lou Brock used, I can't even explain that. It's just completely unreal to know that his hands held that bat, swung it, probably got who knows how many hits with it. And there it is, and you can pick it up and hold it. I was interested in going to opening day because I think as a Cardinals fan, that's something that you really want to do. There's a special buzz in the air. Then you get it into the park and the pageantry starts, and you've got the Clydesdales that are making a lap around the field. Nobody else has anything like that. And it's so majestic and it's so exciting. But to see the red coat ceremony and to see those guys, who are still living, that you grew up listening to on the radio, and maybe once in a while getting a chance to go see a game, was just overwhelming. I'm not afraid to lose points on my man card to say that when Bob Gibson came out, I cried. Bob Gibson! I mean, he meant so much to me as a baseball player when I was a kid, and was such a hero to me. To see him walk out there and look like he could probably take 2 or 3 innings still, in his 80s, was just absolutely overwhelming. Going to the first playoff game is a little bit like going to the first opening day. Would have been nicer if it had been in St. Louis, but it was great to be in Atlanta. Beautiful. SunTrust Park is a beautiful facility. The only way you can describe the atmosphere is electric, because everybody's there, everybody's charged up, a lot more so than just in the regular season when you go from one day to the next and you play so many games. What I'll remember is that the game didn't look like it was going to go our way for a long time, and then the kind of magical comeback there in the 8th and the 9th. What I'll take away from these experiences that I've been able to have through Simply a Fan this year, going to opening day for the first time, going to a playoff game for the first time, a deeper appreciation for being able to be a St. Louis Cardinals fan. And I know everybody else is like, okay, I'm a Rangers fan or I'm a Yankees fan. You're not any special because you're a Cardinals fan. No, I'm not, but they're my team. And they're the team that I grew up watching and listening to and pulling for and dying with.